All right, we are live. Thank you for bearing with us. Thank you for your patience. If you've been waiting for us, we've had some technical difficulties. We're going to do some giveaways today. We're going to give away some NBA shop gift cards. We're going to talk some Luka. We can't go live today without talking about what Luka did last night. We're going to talk some Utah Jazz. We are just going to talk some other NBA. And that is what is coming up on Triple Cross right after this.
Lillard with 47 tonight, working it down to 2-1, a deep three. What? Blazers win the series, a walk-off three for Damian Lillard.
Samuel, wide receiver screen, good play, big play, and in for the touchdown.
And Turner looks for the deep left field. Ranging back is Profar, and it's a 1-0 start for the Dodgers.
Second batter of the game, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead.
All right. Welcome to the Triple Cross podcast. Hop in the chat. Let us know who you are, where you're from, what you're doing. Today, if you're watching the Jazz game, if you're a Jazz fan, if you're a fan of someone else, starting out, let's talk about giveaways. So we're going to do some NBA shop giveaways today. We're going to do some gift card giveaways to the NBA shop. Here is how you enter. First, you like this video. Like it, hit the like button. Super simple. Second, there's a tweet like on the Twitters. There's a tweet in the description of this video. You go there, you click the link that's there. That'll bring you to Twitter. You retweet that tweet. That's it. That's how you do it. We will be pulling the winner from Twitter and yeah, we're gonna give away. I have planned to give away. I think. Let's see what do I got? I got planned to give away 3 gift cards today.
Hey, that sounds pretty good to me, man. I mean, I'd like a gift card. Can I get one of those?
No, you can't.
Oh.
It's one of them. You're already watching, so.
All right. But I liked the video already, though.
I'm trying to bribe people to watch our stuff, man. Like, come on. If you've been waiting, again, apologies. We had a little technical difficulties. We got a little bit of a late start, but we're here now. So yeah, hop in the chat. Casey, if you want to put the directions in to the chat, like pin it in the chat, I think you know.
Yeah, I can work on that. Let me get that for you here.
Cool. So starting out today, so we are going to do our first giveaway in probably about 20 minutes or so. We're going to give away a NBA shop gift card. And yeah, so already got a comment. Thank you for hopping in the chat. Danny Sharp. My name's Danny. I'm from England. I like the Jazz and it's okay. Yes. It is okay to like the Jazz. I don't know if that was supposed to be comforting. Like, it's okay. It's okay. We like the Jazz. Like, or if it's like, it's okay to like the Jazz. I don't know if you're being defensive or comforting, but either way, it is okay to like the Jazz. Also,
like Danny, we like you. We
like you, Jazz. We like you, Jazz. We like you, Danny. Yeah, no, I mean, that's cool. From England. All right. So today, let's talk about Luka. First of all, while you're putting that into the chat, putting those directions into the chat, and pinning them, I have to address what Luka Doncic did last night, because it was historical. I mean, obviously, Twitter, ESPN, everybody's been blowing up about it today. But to recap for those who don't know, he put up 60 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists in a Dallas Mavericks win over the New York Knicks. That's something Wilt Chamberlain has never done, which is it's a strange measuring stick. I understand, a very strange measuring stick, but it's like if it's a statistical thing, it's the best measuring stick. Because that's what it's always like when your favorite player, this probably happens to you all the time with Steph, when your favorite player does something like really cool, there will be some graphic that comes up on the broadcast and it'll be like, he's the first person ever to, or the first player or the second NBA player ever to do this. And there'll be like an asterisk on it. And it'll be like, except for Wilt Chamberlain, who did it 16 times. And that's like 60 and 20, right? So there's not been very many people who've done 60 and 20, maybe like 2 or 3 or something like that, NBA players, except for Wilt, who has done it like 18 times or something like that. So Wilt is the cheat code. But Luka is in that rare air. He's in that rare air today where Wilt's not even tasted that air. He's above. Wilt's not even been there. He's been a place where Wilt hasn't been. And that's crazy because we watching the game today, those of us who didn't get to watch Wilt Chamberlain playing, we don't see that. We don't see players do that. So yeah, it's insane. I don't know. Casey, I know you watched the highlights. I know you've been, thoughts. I've been talking for a minute.
Man,
I appreciate your guys' thoughts. Let me know if you guys watched the game, and what you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, this was pretty nuts, right? Like, to be honest, I only watched the highlights of this game. Didn't catch this one live, but I mean, this guy was playing like a man possessed out there. That's like the only way I can say it. It just seemed so unlikely that, I mean, first of all, forget about the individual performance. It seemed unlikely that their team had a shot at all. You know, I mean, I know you have it pulled up, but off the top of my head, it was something like just seconds left on the clock, really, and they were down almost double digits. And then just the most insane sequence of events happen. And Luka is, I mean, there was no doubt he was already a superstar, but like this, like you said, he enters some rarefied air where like maybe he is no longer just superstar status, but like in like all time kind of great, at least moments, you know, like
this is, I mean, I mean, somebody asked me today, what other NBA player could you see doing this? And I'm like, LeBron. You know,
like this year though,
no, yeah, I mean LeBron and his plot, like current NBA player, could you see doing this? But it's the dimes, right? Like Giannis, no, he wouldn't dish out 10 assists in a game. I mean, It'd be crazy. It'd be rare if he did. Jokic, I could maybe see Jokic doing this, right? Those slow European dudes. Those are the ones who could do this. But yeah, I mean, so real quick, checking in with a few people here. Jace from Utah. I'm also from Utah. Let's go Jazz. Playing the Warriors tonight. Lauri Markkanen is my favorite player on the Jazz. Currently, probably mine too. I don't know. I like me some Jordan Clarkson. Like me some flamethrower. But if you entered our Lauri Markkanen jersey giveaway, we will be announcing that next week. Maybe we'll link that up in the description after this if you guys haven't entered that. But we're doing some giveaways tonight. And for anybody who's just joining us, reminder, directions to enter the giveaway are in the description of the video. They're also over in the chat pinned. Declan, love basketball. RIP Kobe. RIP Kobe. Felix from Romania. Who's this guy? Mavs fans since forever, of course, since they had Dirk before they had Luka. Hall of Famer guaranteed.
I think he's talking about Luka there for sure.
I know. I think that's a stretch. Like if he retired today, would he be a Hall of Famer? I mean, this is an incredible game. Right. But and he's had an incredible career, but like it's been a very good statistical career, you know, without like it's not been long enough to be like a stats only Hall of Fame career, right? Like Reggie Miller or something like that. I think it's been too short.
Though.
He's definitely, I mean, for sure on the trajectory. Let me give you the rundown because you were just talking about it. Let me give you the rundown of the last couple minutes, not even a couple minutes.
Break down that sequence I was talking about.
Yes. So 42 seconds left in the game. 42 seconds left. The Knicks are up 110-101. 9-point lead with 42 seconds left. And then this next play happened, and this was about the time Jalen Brunson realized they were going to lose. So when they're up 110-101, and Luka gets a bucket. It was kind of like a fadeaway, you know, on the baseline. And I think, and that made it like a 7-point game. So 7-point game, less than 40 seconds to play. That was about the time Jalen Brunson realized they were going to lose. Like it was like he was sitting on the bench and they were like doom zooming him and his face is like, oh no. Yeah. Like I've seen this before.
I saw moments where there's just like a couple of those players were like, they're just all shoulders. Like, we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like,
what do we do about
happening? The game is happening to us. Like that's what's happening.
Like we're doing the right things and this is just happening. So yeah, Luka makes a bucket, makes it a 7-point game. Then the Knicks score. So it's back up to a 9-point game. And then this was the big thing is down the stretch, their other players, their role players, Christian Wood hits a big 3 to make it a 6-point game. Christian mother freaking Wood, not even a shooter. Like that guy's like an athletic rebounder and like lob catcher. and he hit a three, probably like a solid step behind the 3-point line on the wing, just sunk it. He makes it a 6-point game. The Mavs get a stop. That was a big stop. And then Luka gets an offensive rebound and put back to make it a 4-point game. And this is when they're like, I don't know. Like the ball's just bouncing to him. It's like he bribed God for this. And then he gets an and one. So that putback was an and one. That makes it a 3-point game because he of course sunk the free throw. The Mavs then fouled on the other end because I think at this point there's like less than 20 seconds left. The Mavs foul and the Knicks made 1 free throw. So now it's a 4-point game again. Mavs inbound to Dinwiddie, who instantly makes a 3. Like 2 seconds run off the clock on that inbound play. Dinwiddie makes a 3, makes it a 1-point game. And at this point, there's 8 seconds on the clock. And then the Mavs foul again. The Knicks make both this time, which makes it a 3-point game. And then Luka gets himself to the free throw line. All the Knicks had to do was like not foul and not give up a 3, right? Like it's like we could give up a 2. Like they just had to not foul and not give up a 3. But what did they do? They fouled Luka.
Yep.
They fouled the dude already scored like 50 points. He goes to the line, and then this happens. I've got the clip because we can't not. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, let's go.
We can't. We can't not.
Copyright be damned. Like.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. I'll turn off the sound here. Put this on. So I'll talk through it if you are listening after the fact on audio only. So this happened. So they foul Luka. Here we got 115, 113. Oh wait, no, that's after he made his first one. So they foul him. He makes the first free throw. So then it's 115, 113. Knicks are up 2 with 4.2 seconds to play. And Luka does this. Steps up. Misses on purpose, slams it off. 2 Knicks put hands on it. Luka freaking
that dance though. That dance.
The dance. All right. So the 2 Knicks put hands on this, and I think it was Emmanuel Quickley and Quentin Grimes. They both had hands on it. Luka grabs it, puts it back, sinks it, and then just does the best celebration dance I've ever seen. The NFL has given him a call right now, and they're like, "That you got to come teach that to our players."
I want to know how much of this. I've thought about this live, live when I first saw the replay. Like, how much of a heartbreaker would it have been had that like 3/4 court prayer gone in on the other end, just like ended that whole thing? Like,
yeah. So here, let's watch this one more time. Bounces it off 2 guys' hands. Luka grabs, puts back, and then this dance, just incredible dance. And he's like, "Oh guys, we got to play defense. Everybody, remember to play defense." And then 3/4 court prayer. And it hit the backboard.
Pretty close. Had a little bit.
And then
of
at this point, so that sent it to overtime. And Luka said after the game that he thought they were playing for the win. Like he thought that was a winner for a second. That's why he was doing that dance. And I'm like, so hold on. Like in your brain, because he knew 2 seconds before that when he missed the free throw, he knew it was not. Like in your brain, you missed that free throw, got to put back. And it was now a winner in your head, like it was now a game.
So you didn't try to shoot the free throw for the tie to prolong the game,
right? Yeah, that's what he's
there. Where did you find that out? By the way, where'd you hear that?
I think I heard it on a post game, post game last night on his post game interview. Like he's like, for a second, I thought I shot for the win, or something like that. But yeah, no, dude just gives.
Maybe he just means in the moment, like you know what I mean. Obviously,
I know. I think he just had a lapse, right? And then best thing ever, best quote ever. After the game, post-game interview, he goes, hey, I need a recovery beer. Like that's what he needed. He needed a recovery beer. Like you got the other kind of player who could do this would be like LeBron. Like he'd be like, I'm going to go get into my cryo chamber for 3.82 minutes. And then I'm going to sleep for 8.72 hours. And then I'm going to wake up and do this specific routine. And Luka's like, I need a beer.
Yeah.
Man after your own heart.
Yeah, exactly. Luka's my kind of guy, and you love to see it from Luka because like he is just kind of that like he's that player that he's so good, but he's deceptively like his game is deceptively simple. It seems like, you know what I mean? Like you're out there. It's not like he's blowing past people at just some unreal speed. You know what I mean? Like whenever he like drives, I'm like other great players make the rest of the people on the court look like they're moving in slow motion. Luka kind of looks like he's almost in slow motion, but you just can't stop him. Like he's unstoppable.
Slow. I know.
It's incredible. incredible. I mean, I haven't watched as much basketball as you, but I can't even think of like a really good player comp to how Luka plays the game. Like, just I've never seen somebody look quite like him out there and be as good as he is. It's honestly just incredible.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. And yeah, so my question to you now is, Luka was kind of atop the MVP ladder, and Kia's latest MVP ladder came out 4 days ago, and currently it is in this order: number 1, Giannis; number 2, Nikola Jokic; number 3, Jason Tatum; number 4, Kevin Durant; number 5, John Morant; number 6, Zion Williamson; and then tied for 7th is Luka and Joel Embiid. Do you think this moves him? I mean, here's the thing. It's like, we're talking about Luka right now. These other dudes are playing very good basketball.
Sure.
Do you think this moves him on the MVP ladder, or do you think it's like, no, I mean, that's about where you belong?
No, I think this definitely, I'm in the camp at least that this definitely moves him up. I mean, I've always been of the mindset that like MVP across all sports, by the way, MVP does not just mean who had the best statistical season, right? Like, there's a reason why it's called most valuable player, not person with the most points or whatever you want to, whatever else substitute title you would give it. It's most valuable player, like, to their team. And honestly, I think this is like, especially after this game, him being even tied for 7th, that's disrespectful to this man. Like, I don't know. I mean, Giannis, sure, Jokic, like some of these guys, but like these guys wouldn't, like, they aren't carrying their team like Luka is. It feels like when they win games, it is 100% because of Luka.
Yeah.
Like, that's their game script to victory is
they're
give Luka the
carrying
damn
their
ball.
teams, but their teams are actually capable of winning without them. Giannis especially.
Right.
The
Well, I mean,
Bucks
we've
are actually
seen-
relatively capable of winning without Giannis. Tatum, I mean, the Celtics similar. That's why the Bucks and Celtics are at the top of the standings, right?
I
Because
mean, we were just talking. You were just telling me the other day how you were surprised the Warriors won a game with no Steph, no Wiggins, and like, okay, yeah, good teams, you know, they can do it. I don't think this is a good team without him. I think this is a bad team without him.
Danny Sharp agrees with you. I agree with you too. It really is a bad team. Like, who's your number 2 guy? Spencer Dinwiddie? Like, that's who you want? That's what you're going with? Spencer
That's
Dinwiddie?
what every NBA team wants for their number 2, you know.
Tim Hardaway Jr. Like, I mean, if it was Tim Hardaway, like, I'd take a 56-year-old Tim Hardaway Sr. over Tim Hardaway Jr. as my number 1 guy.
Yeah.
I agree with Felix on this one. Felix hopping in with just an incredible take, and just going old school with the like type
The emoticon
emoji.
No emoji. It's an emoticon.
Yeah, going old school with it. I like it. The Mavs have a pair coming up against the Rockets, and I think it's a back-to-back coming up against the Rockets and the Spurs. Maybe it's not a back-to-back. But they have a pair of games coming up against the Rockets and the Spurs. The next MVP ladder should come out 3 days from now. If they lose to the Rockets or Spurs, then I think everybody shrugs it off, just like Felix is saying here. And just says, oh, yeah, you know, look, he's the number 1. He's the one and only option on his team. He's going to have big nights. But let's not downplay this. 60-20-10 is not just a big night. It's something Wilt has never done. I'll end where I started. This is something Wilt has never done.
And that's the kind of thing, that kind of statement, years in the future, 2 years in the future, when you look back on who wins MVP this year, that's the kind of stuff you'll remember. You'll be like, oh yeah, Luka freaking got snubbed, even though he had, you know, sure, one game doesn't do all of it, but like, you'll remember this game 2 years from now because it's never been done before.
Yeah, hop in the comments if you're listening to this. Hop in the comments, tell me what you remember about Kobe. Right, like there's plenty to remember. Great player, great body of work. Tell me, like, when I say, hey, Kobe, like, what comes to mind, like, right away, right? To me, there's like a very obvious thing that sticks out, right? It's one big game. Okay, one more thing I want to bring up on Luka, then we'll move on to a giveaway. Just as a reminder, if you want to win a NBA Shop gift card, the way that you win, the directions are in the description of the video, and they're pinned over in the chat. Basically, you have to go to the link in the description and retweet that tweet. Then you have to like this video, and then you just got to hang out and see if you win. We're going to give away 3 gift cards while we're live here. We're going to be on for about an hour-long podcast today.
Yeah.
So what do you do if you're the Mavericks right now to capitalize on this guy? Also, quick side note, this is I'm going to put this out to the comments too. What do you do? Who's your trade target here? Because you can't just continue like this if you're the Mavericks, right? You can't continue with Luka and the Jackson 5 or whatever, right? Like Huey Lewis in the news out here, like Luka Doncic and the other guys, right? Like we can't continue like this. So what do you do as a trade target if you're the Mavericks? So what people are answering that in the comments, Felix, Zion over Doncic is a joke.
I agree completely, honestly.
Yeah, he's been very hot since he returned, but like I definitely think guys should get docked for having not played as many games. So it's like Joel Embiid and Zion are really hot right now, but like they should definitely get docked for having missed as many games as they've missed. Like they should not be as high as him.
Absolutely. Going back to what the award is called, most valuable player, like to your team. How are you valuable to your team on the bench? Like that's just impossible.
Yeah.
And it's not like Luka has had like bad stretches while other guys were missing games. Like Luka's been on it all year.
He's been on every game all year, every single night in and night out. And the way he plays is a beat up. Like he's physical and he plays like in a very hard to maintain kind of way. Matt Kinzelberg hopping in. When I think of Kobe, I think of how he could just turn it on and take over a game whenever he wanted to. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I was fishing for a different answer.
Mamba mentality, though.
When I think of Kobe, Mamba mentality. I think of how like people, remember when we were kids, like when people shot a ball, they'd say Kobe.
I mean, that's Luka.
Yeah, Luka. Is that what they say now?
Maybe.
But when I think of Kobe, like think big Kobe moments. 81 points. He put up 81 points in a game, which is the most anyone's put up since Wilt Chamberlain put up 100. And
exactly,
like and it was just like straight buckets all night. I think it was against the Jazz too, if I remember right.
No.
Yeah, no, he did put up, I think he put up like 50 or 60 in his last game ever, and it was against the Jazz. But that was like, I think sometimes in their exit games they could just get all the calls they want, yeah, I agree. Like so anyway, what we're saying, you can't just continue like this, right? If it's me, I'm eyeing a target. I'm eyeing a trade somewhere, right? And I was just actually, I'll pull this up. Pull up the trade maker, the ESPN trade maker, and let's talk about if we're the Mavericks. What are we going to do here? Because here was what I was just noticing before we went live when I was trying to make a trade for Luka. The Mavericks have a whole bunch of sucky contracts.
Yeah,
like they are overpaying so many people. They got Spencer Dinwiddie on $20 million over 2 years. They got Tim Hardaway Jr. on $20 million basically over 3 years, right? So he's at $6-7 million a year on average. It might be backloaded or whatever. Bertans at $16 million over 3 years. Now Bertans got that contract off of a very hot year, and that just happens sometimes. Christian Wood at $14 million over 1 year. I mean, at least that expires, but Christian Wood's not getting paid less. That dude's not about to get paid less. He's about to get paid more. Yeah, I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith is like the only reasonable one here. If he wasn't Dorian Finney freaking Smith, like even $3 million a year is kind of a lot for Dorian Finney-Smith. Dwight Powell at $11 million over 1 year. That one will expire and he will get paid less, or he'll just get waived. Reggie Bullock. Oh my gosh. Reggie, the hider Bullock, the dude who just hides and has like a 16% usage rate. Just hanging, like when he gets the ball, he's like, oh no, you guys, I didn't know if you know this, but I'm Reggie Bullock. You're not supposed to pass it to me to shoot.
Yeah. I mean, for those
10 million over 2 years.
That's 7 other guys other than Luka just bringing in over 10 mil a year.
No, that's over 2 years. So yeah, so it is a little confusing.
That's their salary per year for 2 years, right?
No, so it'd be like $5 million a year.
Oh,
10 million over 2 years.
Yeah, my bad.
You
can follow me in this.
I believe. Yeah, I believe that's what this is saying. But yeah, like that makes it so hard. And I don't know what their pick situation is. If Felix sounds like you're a Mavs fan, if you know what their pick situation is, like, do they have valuable picks to move? Because yeah, like Ainge is Luka is underpaid. Felix says. Yeah, I mean, Luka's going to be on a supermax on his next renegotiation.
At this point, yeah, I don't think you could hand him enough money. Like
he's on his sophomore contract though. You got to remember, Luka's only like 4 years into the league. I think he's probably paid the max for sophomore.
Raise the max.
Or his second whatever they call it, the second contract, basically. Yeah, there has been talk of raising the cap for sure. But I think that there would actually be salary adjustments on certain players as well.
Yeah.
So this is what makes it hard for the Mavs is there's just not a lot of good trade targets. If you want anything, and this is the only way I see it, like teams that are hungry for a trade. So I could see there's a few teams I could see rebuilding in the East. I could see Chicago going into a rebuild because it's like, this just isn't working. Like they've got these good players and it's just not working. I could see, I mean, Detroit's in like a perpetual rebuild. So, I mean, if you want Bojan Bogdanovic, I guess you could go get him. Miami.
I know you have some love for Bojan, but like, is that the kind of name you want to add to this list?
I know.
Already?
No, he's not a running mate. He's not a run. He's another Spencer Dinwiddie.
Right.
He's another Spencer Dinwiddie. Miami, I could see going into rebuild. Orlando already sucks, so they're not gonna. And then Toronto, right? So in Washington. So like, like let's take the Bulls for example. What do you do here? Like, what can you do? I mean, the best thing I could think of is maybe like, let me put my next two best players besides Luka on the trade block. And can I get, if I've got picks, if I'm the Mavericks and I have picks, then maybe I can put those two on some unprotected first round picks and maybe get DeMar and like, I don't know, is there someone else who has a sucky contract I could take off your hands like Kobe White? Let's try. Yeah, okay, we could do that. I don't know what the Bulls wouldn't though. Like Spencer Dinwiddie and Tim Hardaway for DeMar DeRozan. Like, why would you do it? So only if they were getting picks, like if they're going into rebuild. Spencer Dinwiddie and Tim Hardaway, I don't know their ages. DeMar DeRozan is a little older, right? So you might move on from him if you wanted to go into a rebuild. But yeah, I mean, like, what else you do here? Like, if you're the Mavs, you know what I mean? Like, there's just not a lot of options for you. Could we find another team that might rebuild? Like, I mean, Washington, could you get Kuzma? Is there like any world where you could get Kuzma? He's on an incredible contract. There's no way you could get Kuzma. That is like, he's so underpaid. He's so undervalued. I don't know. And you already traded Kristaps, right? Like you don't want him back.
Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe you do, honestly.
You need someone who's a running mate for Luka. And yeah, I mean, those are the teams that would rebuild in the East. I mean, teams that would maybe move into a rebuild in the West.
What kind of player would you be like if you had a dream player, like a wish list type of, like an archetype of player? What are you looking for if you had a bunch of suitors, if you had the capital and things to trade away? What kind of guy are you looking for in that situation?
Dream trade. I think Felix is feeding right into it. Felix says Mavs have had no solid center since Chandler in their last championship run. It's funny that you're calling Tyson Chandler a solid center, because I would not think of him as such, but he was good during that championship run. You're right. Like it's hard for me to get that like Phoenix Suns Tyson Chandler out of my head. Yeah, no. And to me, it would be, if it was a dream, and this is like, there is a world where maybe like a Jokic, I think would be a good companion to Luka. That's another MVP contender, but like there is a world where Denver might at some point just be like, hey, we're getting so far, but we're not getting far enough. Let's burn it down. Kind of like Utah did. I'm thinking they probably have to hire Danny Ainge in order to do that. But in order to ever move on from Jokic, you'd have to hire someone like Danny Ainge. But yeah, like, I mean, it'd be something like that, or honestly, what will probably happen is a bunch of these contracts will expire and Luka will be 3 years into his 5-year contract before any good prospects. And he might be done by then. Like I could legitimately see him being like, just trade me. You know what I mean?
Yikes. I mean, for Mavs fans, that's not what you want to hear, but you could be wrong. You never know.
Last year, I mean, they made a deep run with Jalen Brunson. So like a solid guard, right? DeJounte Murray type guard.
And that's actually, we had the comment here about like a center, but I think anybody who can create spacing for Luka, because if there's one thing that I can see just from the way he plays, like, again, he's not the quickest, not the fastest guy in the league, but he can maximize the amount of like spacing on the court, right? He still is good at that. It's kind of counterintuitive for like his raw assets, but like, I mean, he sees a small hole and he can get through. Imagine if he had, more spacing on the court and there were more of those lanes open for him. Like, I just think that's how you could unleash ultimate Luka, and he becomes undeniable MVP candidate, you know?
For sure. All right. Let's move on. Let's, we don't need to beat this Luka horse to death.
The man deserved it, but you're right.
He deserved the solid 25 minutes he got from us. Absolutely. This was an incredible game. All right, let's do a giveaway. Let's give away a $25 gift card to the NBA shop. I am going to pick somebody from the people who have retweeted, and I was just like a little name randomizer or whatever.
And if you didn't enter in time to get in on this giveaway, I also put it up on the screen here, getting screen time, so no excuse now. Go ahead and retweet this tweet, retweet the tweet.
Retweet John, the tweet link below. You do have that backwards. Retweet the tweet that is in like the description of the video, and then like the video you're currently watching.
Right. My fault there on that. I shamelessly I copy and pasted it from the tweet, trying to be quick.
Okay. So the winner, the drawn winner of the first giveaway for the $25 gift card to the NBA shop was Twitter handle at live on that swing, or live on that swing. Their name is Bamf Adebayo. Which is pretty cool. Bamf Adebayo. Cool. So if you're watching right now, Bamf Adebayo / live on that swing, hop in the chat and be like, yeah, that's me. I won. We'll hit you up, I guess, on Twitter. Like maybe let's just do that. Hit them up on Twitter. Let them know, hey, you won. Yeah, so we will give away another $25 gift card and a $50 gift card in the rest of the show. So if you want to enter to win a NBA shop gift card, like the video, go to the tweet that's in the description of the video and retweet it and hang out to see if you win. I mean, maybe we should make that a rule. Like you got to be here to win. I don't know.
I mean, that'd be cool, but
yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know. The rules are pretty fast and loose, people.
The guy's probably a Heat fan, I imagine.
With that's a yeah. Was at Bamf Adebayo not available? Because that would be a great Twitter handle.
I agree.
Let's move on. And I wanted to do a little Utah Jazz highlight. So coming back for you, Mr. Jace Randolph, Utah Jazz highlight. Our original plan was actually to do a watch along tonight. And just I'll take this moment to maybe talk about the live stream game companion we'll do tomorrow night for Thursday Night Football. So we're gonna do Thursday Night Football, Titans, Cowboys. We're gonna do a game companion, and we got a fun little wrinkle. Casey, do you want to say it? Do you want me to say it? What do you want to say? What do you want to do here?
Yeah. So it's a working formula, right? Like it's subject to kind of wiggle and find out how the segment kind of wants to go. But while we're doing watch alongs in the future, we've done a couple before watch alongs, game companions, whatever you want to call it. Basically something you might put on while you're watching on your phone, while you're watching a game on TV. A lot of times I put it up on a laptop. It's something where you can turn the volume down on the TV, listen to us. If we're doing, sometimes we do giveaways on those, so you could win stuff while you're watching your favorite team. But for this game, we're going to experiment with a new thing where John and I do player prop bets, essentially. I think we'll make them up first. We might, if we can get that hashtag like sponsor money from something like DraftKings, we might use their player props in the future. But essentially, we'll give each other a line where we're making bets on players' performances during the game. And if we don't get it right, essentially, if we have a bad take, we will punish ourselves live on the live stream for your pleasure only, because, we know you're watching the game you want to watch anyway. We're going to come up with silly punishments that will
stuff like the one chip challenge. Punish ourselves. I feel like we should clarify what we mean by punish ourselves.
Yeah, no, we're gonna slap ourselves.
It will all be YouTube. No. It will all be approved by YouTube. There won't be anything inappropriate.
I mean, we might push the boundaries a little.
Yeah. No. Things like the one chip challenge, or like hot wings, or I don't know, it might be other stuff too. Like eat a cup of toothpaste was one you said earlier, which I was
we got to leave some room to grow these punishments, these challenge punishments. So
if anyone has any ideas of punishments, like, so this would be an example of this would be like if we were doing the Jazz Warriors game tonight, I might say, hey, Casey, I'll give you an over under on Jordan Poole in the first half for 12.5 points. You know what I mean? In case he has to take the over under on 12.5 points in the first half for Jordan Poole. And if he got it wrong, he would essentially have to do some kind of punishment. So if you have any punishment ideas, drop them in the chat. We'll bring them up. That'll be fun.
The idea for tomorrow would be we're going to do hot wings, and not just like hot wings, like
the hottest wings
you
that
can
are
get.
Yes, the hottest wings that we can get our hands on. And if we both win our bets, then we do a giveaway. So you win either way. If you either get to watch us suffer or you get a chance to win something.
That way, when we're doing our victory laps, you can victory lap with us. So it becomes a fun little thing.
Yes. So let's talk Utah Jazz. I teased Jace, and then we went off on this whole tangent about what we're going to do on our live streams. Yeah. So let's talk Utah Jazz. So question one, I'm just going to throw this out to the chat, and then let's come back to it, because you guys need a few minutes to answer. You're a little ways behind. You're a little bit behind me sometimes. Were the Jazz trying to tank this year? Was Danny Ainge trying to tank this year? Like, was the purpose to tank and to get a high draft pick and potentially be in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, come draft time, to get a lottery pick? So that's my question. And I'm going to circle back to it because I have opinions, and I'm going to let you answer it as well, Casey.
Sure.
But Jazz future. So a little zoom in on the Jazz here. Let's pull some team stats, some individual stats from within the Jazz.
Love it.
Team leaders, so Markkanen, Clarkson, just killing it. We've got 5 guys on the Jazz averaging double-digit scoring, almost 6. Mike Conley at 9.8, and he is also at 7.4 assists per game. So Mike Conley, very good stats. And this is just how it is. It's like they built this team that has a whole bunch of guys who can go ISO at any time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they meant to do this, but it is pretty impressive. So, putting them into the trade machine. So this is what I thought would be fun. Putting them into the trade machine. They definitely are over the tax line, right? So they don't have any cap space right now, but what they have is a lot of assets in players and a lot of assets in picks. So you got to figure they're not going to just use all those picks. They're probably going to trade some of them. So my question, or I guess the question you asked me before we recorded, was who is safe? Who is safe on the Jazz? And that's another question I'll throw out to the people watching as well. Who's safe on the Jazz? Who's going to be part of their future? Casey, do you have opinions on this before I opine?
Yeah. So
okay.
I'm biased here, right? So I don't know if people probably aren't familiar with where we grew up. We grew up in the northwestern part of the country. We'll leave it kind of at that, near a town called Spokane, Washington. There's a little well-known school now, but we liked them before they were cool. Right, yeah. Right. Watching Gonzaga University playing ball, and one name jumps off this list because he's a Gonzaga alum. Or I guess he might have left early. Do they become alums if they leave early? I
think so. I mean, basketball, yeah.
I guess so.
You're still a Duke alum, even if you played one. You're Jason Tatum,
Right, for lack of a better word, at least.
Technically, he's not. I don't think he graduated, but yeah, he's a basketball alum.
That's where I'm coming from. Yeah. So Kelly Olynyk, I think he's one of those guys who, so far in the NBA, I don't know if people knew what he was, and I think he's still kind of developing that identity, and I think he's starting to find a place where he fits in a little bit. I mean, you weigh in because you're the Jazz fan, but that's my read on it from the outside looking in. Is he's one of those guys who's kind of underappreciated. He kind of fits the Utah meta, the Utah what the Jazz like in players. A lot of the Jazz, even John Stockton,
a lot of hustle,
right? People don't always give John Stockton his flowers, right? But those are the guys Utah seems drawn to from the outside looking in. Even a guy like Don, right, was the opposite kind of. I think he was a sensation, and that was the one guy they moved on from here recently. So I think the Utah program likes to find guys who the sum of all of them becomes greater than each individual part, a standalone.
It's always been a scheme environment. That's how Utah's always won. This scheme is different than we've ever seen from Utah, though, because typically Utah's been running a PNR, a pick and roll scheme, essentially for 30 years now, right? And that's not what they're doing now. They're playing a 5 out, they're playing a 5 out, and they're looking for switches they're looking for off-ball screens and switches, and they're just kind of moving the ball and moving the players until they get the matchup they want, and then they're attacking it. That's a different kind of scheme. And honestly, it's a scheme that's probably a little bit more built for today's NBA and today's playoffs than pick and roll is. Although when pick and roll is done perfectly, it is unstoppable. But it's just, very hard to do it perfectly and incredibly precisely. So like my take on Kelly Olynyk is, how old is Kelly Olynyk? I want to say he was in the 2014 draft class. He's 31 years old.
Felix says that nobody is safe on the Jazz. So like if the superstar breaks out, like
no one has ever been safe on the Jazz. I'll amend that statement. I think no one has ever been safe with Danny Ainge. I think Danny Ainge would trade his firstborn child for the right deal. Like that dude, you're never safe.
Felix also followed it up saying there's the main reason to stay in Utah is a supermax contract, no huge egos, and apparently he picked up on our love of the emoticons.
He's going hard on the emoticons here.
All right, back to Kelly Olynyk. Sorry,
Kelly Olynyk. Supermax. Yeah. So Olynyk's 31 years old, and he is having one of his better years right now. Let's look. Where's his career?
That's the way it feels, right? Even if statistically we see something that we don't expect, like
he had
that's
a really
certainly
great
the feeling.
He had a really great year in Boston at one point. Career. So yeah, right now he is shooting the flipping lights out from the 3-point line this year.
Dang.
Shooting 43%. Like he might be leading the league.
I didn't even realize that was.
He's got to be close. He's got to be close to leading the league in 3-point percentage. Shooting great from the free throw line. Not rebounding as well as normally, but better assists, better in points. I mean, he's beating his points average. So he's having a career year. I think he has had one other year in Boston that was like a career year as well. And that was when he got on essentially what is now, I believe, this contract of $4 million a year. No, that's an updated one. Yeah, he got on a big contract with Miami for a little while.
Whoa, Kelly Olynyk, by the way, I just fact checked this. Kelly Olynyk is 13th in the league in 3-point shooting, which is pretty good. But he's right behind his teammate. I'm sure you can guess who.
Malik Beasley?
No.
Larry Markkinen, Mike Conley?
Markkinen, yeah.
Markkinen is shooting 43%?
Markkinen is shooting 43.2%.
Holy cow. I mean, I knew Markkinen was shooting the 3-ball well, but dang. To me, Kelly Olynyk does not feel safe. In fact, and I would agree with this, I'm making predictions and assuming I know what Danny Ainge is thinking. But I would actually agree with him. As much as I love to see Gonzaga players in Utah uniforms, I'd sell Olynyk high, right? You got a 31-year-old player who's having a career year. His salary's good. I like that $4 million a year salary, and he's probably not going to get more on his next re-up 3 years from now. So that would be one reason to keep him. That'd be like kind of the main reason to keep him. But I might try and sell high on Olynyk, and see if I could get some like real assets for him. And I mean, freaking Ainge is a pick collector. So, even if you can just get some unprotected first rounds, he might trade one unprotected first round for Kelly Olynyk. Like Danny Ainge collects those picks like they're Pokemon cards.
Felix chiming in here. I think so. I think I might have had it right. I think that might be the yearly salary.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, I'm sorry.
I think so. Hey, it's okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. 12 million is a little high. I don't know. I think that he doesn't feel safe to me, especially when you look at like Vanderbilt's going to get paid on his next re-up. So yeah, Olynyk, 31 years old. He doesn't feel that safe. There are essentially, to me, two players that I think are safe. Three players that I think are likely to stay, are relatively safe. One is Larry Markkinen. I think that they're looking at him to build the team around, and he's got an incredible contract. If he keeps playing like he's playing now, all-star level basketball for $16 million a year over 3 years, that's an incredible contract. Like that is like build around him now because he's about to get paid when on his next contract negotiation. He feels safe to me. The other one that feels safe to me is Colin Sexton on a long-term, pretty good contract. And the other one that feels safe to me is, who was it? It's always rookies. The rookie contract is pretty favorable. Walker Kessler at that $2.7 million. a year. He's on his rookie contract right now, and he gets minutes. Like he gets. I mean, let's see, where were our Jazz
DER
stats?
is off the chain, man. I mean,
yeah, incredibly efficient player, incredibly good defender. Like Walker Kessler as a rookie he's a big man, right? So comparable to Rudy Gobert, Walker Kessler is better as a rookie than Rudy Gobert was.
do you think that weighed a ton into their decision to move on from Rudy?
Well, I don't think you didn't know until he started playing. He's playing 18 minutes a night though, and he's getting more and more responsibility. I mean, he started playing 7-8 minutes a night,
Right?
So he's averaging 18
like, do you think
minutes
they
a
saw
night.
that coming? They were high on him.
There were people who did, right? And so maybe the Jazz organization was like, yeah, we're pretty hot on this guy, and that's fine. We'll take somebody at literally a tenth of the salary that Rudy has. Like actually, literally, I think Rudy might be more than 10 times that salary. So yeah, I don't know. I think those three seem pretty safe. Clarkson and Conley are two that are very interesting to me. Conley is got to be 34 now, I'm gonna guess. Was it at 35? Conley's 35, recently 35. That to me feels a little unsafe. Like, we might move on from him. And if you've got a 35-year-old player who's having a very good year, and has strung a few very good years in a row, you might be like, can we sell him high before he bottoms out? The big problem is that this team is currently not the same without Mike Conley. Like he is the guy that makes the offense run. He is the guy that distributes. You would need a Jordan Clarkson will never step into those shoes. That's just not him. Jordan Clarkson's a bucket, right? That's what he's after. He's not ever going to be Mike Conley. So can Colin Sexton do it? Like, I just don't think Colin Sexton's that kind of player either. So in a sense, you might want to go get that true distributor. Like, do you have the assets to target a Tyrese Halliburton? I don't know.
I mean,
the other one
he would fit in so well that just this
he would fit in incredibly well in Utah, and maybe that's just me dreaming.
Yeah,
the other person who doesn't seem safe, who kind of should be safe, I would say like, yeah, I would keep this person safe, but again, Danny Angel will make any deal if it's right. Jordan Clarkson, I think they could definitely look to sell high on him. And in fact, last year I was kind of like, I was saying that I wish we had traded Jordan Clarkson after he won Sixth Man of the Year, because he wasn't as hot last year. But yeah, bright future, lots of assets, and legitimately, if anybody has the assets to get a Tyrese Halliburton or grab a franchise player, it's the Jazz.
Hey,
so
anyone can dream, a man can dream.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we've always been doing as Jazz fans. It's just dreaming. Trying to tank. Nobody answered me on this. Do you think
I'll answer? You were gonna ask me.
Yeah.
I'll ask you. I think no. At least
Really?
tanking, no. I think rebuild, maybe, but outright tanking, I just
the only reason for an outright tank is for a lottery pick.
Right. And I mean, maybe they know that's more possible, but they just don't seem like that kind of program that outright fully tanks. You know what I mean? Like they want to win. I think they always want to win, and they want to see if they can do it with a little less money on the books, maybe without some of their marquee players of late, and to a lot of people's surprise, I mean, they can.
Miss Parker, salute Triple Cross Podcast. Salute to you. We are going to do an NBA Shop giveaway coming up in a couple minutes here. In order to enter, click on the link in the description to Twitter and retweet that tweet and like this video. Last thing before we move on from the Jazz, quick answer from you, Casey. And if you want to hop in the chat and tell me too, if Cleveland knew that Markkanen was this good, do they do the trade? I'll pull up the trade for you.
Yeah, I'd have to be reminded of all the assets that got moved there. But I mean
it was good for the Jazz. So the Cavaliers.
Do you believe
the
that
Cavaliers sent Larry Markkanen, Akai Abaji. He doesn't get a lot of minutes. But here I'll pull it back. All right. So Markkanen, Abaji. So where's Abaji? So he plays about 8 minutes a game and gets 2.7, scores 3 points again.
Okay.
And Colin Sexton. and 3 unprotected first round picks, 2025, 2027, 2029. Let me tell you what an unprotected pick is so that you understand.
Sure. Yeah. I think
if I just send you, if I just send,
you know?
Yeah, if I just send you a first round pick, if that pick becomes a lottery pick, I get it back.
Mm-hmm.
If it's unprotected, you get it.
Right. Yeah. Outrageously valuable, right? Like, especially as far as picks go.
Mm-hmm.
We bring it up a lot, but I'm an NFL guy typically, and basketball picks aren't generally thought of as like as high value unless it's something like an unprotected first round pick. Then it basically means the same thing in the NFL world when we're talking about first round picks, or maybe even more compared to other picks. There's such a huge difference. And looking at the details of this trade, I did not remember it. I remember we talked about it when it first happened, but I did not remember it. Did not file into my head as this lopsided. And that's probably because of the way the season's gone. I think the Jazz definitely came out on the right side of this one. To answer your question, though, I think you have to. You can't look.
If the Cavs knew that Lauri Markkanen was this good, did they do this trade?
Right.
Because he was just kind of a 3-and-D player.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm trying to answer the question that you're actually asking, but from like a mindset point of view, as far as general managers go, like you can't be looking with revisionist history back and stuff like this. Like they obviously had a guy they wanted and they went out and got him. Yep. And Don is Don. I mean,
that's not. Yeah. So my opinion on this,
but they lost the trade.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I do think they lost the trade as of right now. And it's going to be years before we figure out how this plays out. There's also pick swaps. So 2026 and 2028, there are pick swaps, which means if the Cavs have a better pick than the Jazz, they can swap them.
Yeah. Usually that's not, that's not the top of the trade for a reason.
Furthermore, does that unprotected matter that much in 2025? Like, are the Cavs going to get a lottery pick in 2025? Probably not. 2027, still probably not. 2029, who even knows? Maybe. These are completely different teams by then. I think that had they known Markkanen was this good, no, they do not do the trade. However, I do think that they got what they like. Had we known Don was this good, we might not have done the trade. Right? Like Don is also having his best year of basketball. He's arguably the best guard in the East right now. Right. Trae Young, Kyrie, James Harden. Like Don is leading all of them in scoring. So in all honesty, I think this is a trade where both teams kind of got what they wanted. It is a little lopsided in favor of the Jazz. What does Lauri Markkanen do in Cleveland? Like you got Jared Allen, you got Evan Mobley, like you got Kevin Love, who's essentially an older version of Lauri Markkanen. Like there's just like, there's already so much size. Like he's an awkward fit over there and they weren't using him right. So I mean, I think in hindsight, like both teams kind of came out all right. Like they got what they wanted in the Cavs. Yeah. I mean, look, Felix says the Cavs look better as of right now after the trade. Short-term win for sure. Yeah, the Jazz look better too. I mean, the Jazz look better than we thought they were going to because everyone thought they were supposed to tank. And then it was like, oh no, this guy's pretty good. Like he can play basketball.
I think this is one of those rare situations, or maybe not even that rare, but yeah, Felix hit the nail on the head with this 2-pack. But I think that this is a mutually beneficial trade. But the Jazz are the winners as of now, if you had to call it. But yeah, like I said, you want a guy like Don, you're gonna have to pay up. With a guy with as big an upside as everybody projected he could have, and like you said, maybe it's even higher than most people thought. So are they worried about like what they paid? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. So I'm not. I know we got a Jazz like giveaway going on currently, so we might have some Jazz fans in here. So I don't mean to say anything negative, but trying to look at it from the outside in. Yeah, I think it's just a good trade on both sides, generally speaking, but better for the Jazz. It's looking like trending to be that way.
Is a team that is currently 7th in the West, has been in playoff. They've never been out of the play-in all year. So a likely playoff team that has a first-year head coach.
Yep.
And
with
like
assets
that's just that just moved their 2 best players. How often have you seen that in the NBA? Like never.
No.
Usually you get like a Rockets thing where it's like, oh, once they move on from James Harden, they go to 14th in the West, for like a few years. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I agree with what Felix said here. The Jazz aren't able to tank. It's the jazziest of Jazz things to do to try and tank and still make the playoffs because it's like they're just a healthy organization. The only way for them to tank is have some kind of toxic player. And they rarely do. The last time I think they had a toxic player was Darren Williams. And I mean, that wasn't that toxic, right? Like they just traded him, right? Once it got that way. So,
I mean, I don't think you're going to find your way onto the Jazz roster if you've got any inclination to be a toxic player at all. So,
I mean, I remember during the summer when they were talking about a Westbrook deal, and it was literally like they weren't even putting those prospective traders weren't even putting Westbrook into the deal with the Jazz. It was like the rights to Russell Westbrook, because everybody knows, like, as soon as we get Russell Westbrook, we're even going to try and trade him to someone else, or we're just going to waive him. Like we would never hold a player like that. Pat Bev, like, I mean, I kind of dig Pat Bev's energy. It's not right for what the Jazz would do. You know, like they have a different kind of culture than that. All right, let's do a giveaway. Let's do another giveaway.
Let's go.
Here's the details on the giveaways. If you want to win an NBA shop gift card, you got to like this video that you're watching right now. You got to find the description of this video, find the link to Twitter, click that link. It'll bring you to Twitter to a tweet, and you got to retweet that tweet. That's it. That's how you enter. And we are going to choose another winner right now. Let me pull her up here. Pull up my selector. Sorry, navigated away because I was pulling up Jazz stats. That's what happens in live podcasting, kids. All right. So next winner here is Mr. at Felix Dragoy, which I'm pretty sure is the Felix that's talking to us.
Hey.
At Felix Dragoy on Twitter. You are a winner of our next NBA shop gift card for $25. We'll hit you up on Twitter to get you your gift card.
I wanted to put them up on the screen. And I'm going to go ahead and say this is the best message to put up on the screen for him, because I'm going to go ahead and say Felix is a Hall of Famer guaranteed in the Triple Cross. He's been carrying the chat, guys. You guys, he's been carrying the chat,
and he's been on a few episodes. So shout out to Felix.
Felix is the real deal.
Shall we move on? Oh, dude, I didn't set up picks for us. All right, let's do this live. F it, we're doing it live.
F it. Is this
Felix said wop wop, which is, I think he means whoop whoop, but that's cool. Whoop, yeah, whoop whoop.
You know, hey. You know, he already said he's Eastern European. Like maybe they do it a little different. You know, because like whistling is bad, right? Isn't that how it is in Europe? I don't know.
That sounds like a super American thing to say. Like he's gonna be like, no, not at all. Like I don't know where you got that.
That's just what I've heard through the grapevine. Felix, you can confirm or deny that. I don't know for sure. Anyway, John, back to what you were doing.
Cool. So we have one more gift card to give away after this. We're going to do some NBA picks here, some key matchup picks for the next week. But if you want to win the last gift card, click on the link in the description and go retweet that tweet. Plus, like this video. We appreciate it. So here's what I do. I'm just going to pull up NBA games, because usually we have like usually I do this beforehand and we decide what games we're going to pick. We're doing this live. I hope you're ready, Casey.
We're going. Hey, let's do it.
So we're not going to pick any of tonight's games. Well, actually, let's start tonight. Let's start.
We could, as long as they haven't started yet, right? Yeah, we're good.
Yep, let's do it. Okay, let's pick Nets Hawks. I will go first here. The Nets have been cooking. Let me just
let's add a random component. What if we just do the first game that shows up on every day? Is that okay?
Okay, I mean okay. First game, or maybe we see
you pick whatever you want. You pick whatever
super key matchup. Nets Hawks. So this is what the Nets have been up to yesterday or recently. A 125-117 victory over the Cavs, fully healthy Cavs, by the way. A 118-100 victory over a fully healthy Bucks. 143 points scored against the Warriors.
I don't want to talk about it.
I mean, they've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Holy shit.
9. 10 or no 9. They've won 9 games in a row. Their last loss coming against the Celtics, and they won a bunch of games before that too. Nets have been cooking, and we've said that a few weeks in a row on the show, but they just keep on cooking. So what do you think about Nets Hawks? Do you think the Hawks can slow these guys down? I do believe the Hawks are healthy. DeJounte Murray might be back. I'm shooting from the hip here. I think he's on my fantasy squad, so I think he's back,
generally in on the Hawks, right? I'm generally in
too.
But right now, I'm not. I mean, come on. I'm gonna take the Nets in this one. I'll pick first, I guess, by the way, on that one.
I'm gonna take the Nets too, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because of this right here. Let's see how he did against the Cavs. This guy right here, TJ Warren. Mm-hmm. Did anyone else besides me forget that TJ Warren played for the Nets? Like, he's been injured perpetually for like 2 years. but he went like in the bubble 2 years ago, he went off. He basically like carried the Pacers and the Nets picked him up, and he's just been having these injuries for 2 years. And I think he just came back in the Bucks game and scored double digits, and then scored double digits again in the Cavs game with 8 rebounds. Like they basically just added a third bubble all-star level player. He won't be this year, but that's the level of player he is. And then old Benny One Point doing his thing, getting 9 rebounds, 8 assists, like classic Ben Simmons. But I mean, it's working. It's working.
Not everybody can score on that team every night.
They beat the Cavs 125-117. I mean, they're fully healthy. 32 from Kyrie and KD. Like, yeah, the Nets are cooking, and I've got them beating the Hawks. And
it's a
I've
long
said this before.
season, and it seems like they came out of the blocks a little rough maybe this year, but it seems like they're cooking now. And barring knock on wood, I'm not even going to say the I word here, but barring any big I words,
right?
I think they're going to be a tough team to battle down the stretch.
This is what I've said about the Nets the whole time, is there's essentially one team in the East and one team in the West that I think this about, that like if they're cooking, it doesn't matter how good you're playing, they're going to beat you. And it's the Nets and the Clippers. All right. We don't need to do any more games from tonight. Jazz Warriors was the one we were going to do. Real quick, Casey, you got the Warriors there?
I'm sorry, I missed the matchup. What were we talking?
Jazz Warriors. You got the Warriors?
Yeah, hell yeah, I'll take the
Dubs over Jazz. All right. Moving on. Let's talk Clippers, because the Clippers have also been cooking. They are 4th in the West.
I think you picked this one for a reason, and you're going to get what you wanted out of this one.
Yeah. So Clippers are they've won 1, 2. I think they've won like 8 of their last 10 or 7 of their last 10. They've dropped some, they dropped 1 to the Suns, they dropped 1 to the Sixers, but they beat the Celtics 113-93 on December 12th. The Clippers have also been cooking, and they're the West version of the Nets, right? So they're that team that if they're on, it doesn't matter how on you are, they'll probably beat you. What do you got here? Wait, what was the matchup? Clippers, Celtics. Oh, I know who you have.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think you saw this one. You were drawn to it for a reason. I think you like it when we pick different teams. Generally, we all like that. I'm taking the Celtics here. I don't think they're gonna like the fact that they lost just recently to the Clippers. And the Celtics, they're a good team. I think they're gonna figure it out. I think the Celtics are one of those teams too, where the more they play an opponent, probably the better chance they have to beat them.
Yeah.
Just, figuring it out. And that's why I think they're a tough team in the playoffs going into like those matchups. They can pull things out, and I think we're going to see that here. I'll you know what? I'm not officially, I'm not going to spot you points, but I'm gonna call for not particularly close game.
Oh, I do think if the Clippers play with everybody, that it will be close. But this game's at the Garden, so at the Garden, I'm probably going to go with Boston. I might pick LA at the Staples Center, in this kind of matchup, but at the Garden, I'm going with Boston because it's tough to beat Boston in their house. Matt agrees with you. Matt Kinselberg, Warriors for sure. Over the Jazz. Nobody gives Jazz any love. All right. If you are on this show right now and you're a Jazz fan like me, just hop in the chat. Like, Jace, where are you at? Are you still here, man? Let's go Jazz. Yeah, go Jazz.
Hey, that was from a while ago, though. That was from a while ago.
Oh man, Felix just hating on the Clippers over here. Paul George is like CP3. He's not getting a ring. I kind of agree. Like, I remember when he was playoff P and he took LeBron 6 games basically, or 7 games basically by himself in Indiana. And like he just, ever since then, he's sucked in the playoffs. But I still think they're good. If they're on, they're good. All right, moving on. Next matchup. Ms. Parker, you retweeted. Thank you so much. We are giving away one more gift card. It's going to be a $50 gift card, capping off the night with a $50 gift card. So we will choose a winner here in a minute once we're done with picks. We're only going to pick through Saturday.
Jace is still here. He says, "Let's go, Jazz."
Let's go, Jace. Yes.
Just had to get a little prodded to get in there in the comments.
Yes. All right. So coming up tomorrow, Friday. Anything stick out to you here? Any ones you want to pick?
Let's see. Let me pick one here. Yeah.
Let's go. Jazz Kings. Jazz Kings is interesting.
All right. Hey, we already got a Jazz game. Let me pick one here.
Or yes,
You threw it out there. No take backs. That's the one I was looking at anyway. Sixers Pels. I like
Sixers
that.
Pels. Ooh, this is a good matchup. Let's
Did
break this
anybody
down.
see the Pels coming like this? Like, did you, John? Did you see the Pels coming this year?
I think a lot of people saw him coming. It's like it's always been like this if Zion's healthy thing, you know. What have they been doing lately? I mean, they beat the Pacers 113-93. They beat the Pacers by effing 20 points.
And
they beat
two
the
in the
Thunder
West.
by
like,
3. What's going on with
I
that?
guess when I hear people even thinking like, yeah, it could be the Pels, you're like, I don't think like the 2, like, you know, like I think like, whoa, you are exceeding even your own fans' expectations possibly.
Let's be, what did we say? We said the Pels are a perpetual 11 seed, right? Like we said that, like I'll call it out. We said that at the beginning of the season.
Did we put them in the playoffs at all? Did either one of them?
I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
Ooh.
But yeah, no, Pels. I mean, they.
Oh,
okay. So here's what's been going on with the Pels lately. Let's talk about what's been going on with the Sixers. Sixers lately, since James Harden's been back, Pelicans will get destroyed by the Warriors in the playoffs. Well, that's if the Warriors make the playoffs. So let's one thing at a time.
Don't even talk.
One thing at a time for the GSW here. Right now, they are currently barely in the play-in. So at Felix 100, there's so much Warriors bias because of how good they've been. But like honestly, they are
just smart basketball fans in the chat. That's what you mean. Just really smart people. Anyway, sorry.
They are struggling here. Sixers, let's talk about what they've been doing. Well, yesterday they've been losing to the Wizards, which is just not a great look.
That's not something anybody wants to do.
No. But before that, beat the Knicks, beat the Clippers, beat the Pistons, beat the Raptors, beat the Warriors, beat the Kings, beat the Hornets, beat the Lakers, and then they lost to the Rockets. I don't know. It's weird. James Harden had a really good game in here somewhere. Was it the Knicks? Everybody just having career nights against the Knicks. Yeah, 29-13. Like, in case you forgot, this guy can play basketball.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, I think people sleep on James Harden, and it doesn't seem as good considering Luka's game, but like people are like, oh yeah, James Harden, he used to be good and stuff. Like, no, he's pretty good still. He's still pretty good. 29 points, 13 assists. Everybody's having career nights against the Knicks. The poor Knicks, man. All right, so back to this matchup. Sixers Pels. What do you got? You got the West Coast biased?
I mean, neither team is really on the West Coast here, you know, but
you got the Western Conference bias.
Western Conference, maybe. You know, I'm gonna go with the Sixers here. I generally want to believe in the Sixers. I think we both kind of stated like they're a team that, you know, they're gonna peak at the right point in the season. And we're still fairly early for like playoff talk, really. You know, I think they're gonna make the playoffs, no problem. But we need to see them beat playoff contending teams here. That's what you want to see. So, this is so true. The Sixers can lose to anyone.
The Sixers
I also think they could beat anyone though. Like, and
that is the Sixers. They are built for playoff basketball. You're right, because it's like they'll win every series in 6 games, right? Like it doesn't matter how bad the team is. Like they could be the 1 seed against like an 8 seed Hornets, and they'll take them 6 games because they'll lose 2 games to the Hornets. Matt also thinks 76ers. Felix says Harden is still one of my best fantasy players. Harden is a great fantasy player. Like he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. He does all the things. Miss Parker says she's a huge Warriors fan. Of course she is.
Miss Parker.
You got Sixers here. Man, I wanna be separate from you on one, but I also kind of have Sixers. What else do we got here?
We've got time for like one more, maybe, right? I mean,
I'll split you on this one. I probably would have went Sixers, but I'll split you on this one because I feel pretty good about the Pelicans.
That also makes me feel good that you wanted the one I had. So
yes. So let's do this. Matt had a question about the Lakers. We've talked freaking till we're blue in the face about the Lakers this year, but real quick, let's do one more pick from this week, and let's do, unless you see like a really compelling pick from this day, let's go grab a Lakers pick so we can talk Lakers.
Let's get it.
All right. So let's do Lakers Hawks. We got Lakers Hawks. We got Lakers Hawks.
Oh, we have a Hawks one already.
Lakers
that one's already going. Right, well, we could do it right now. Who cares? I mean, it's a 3-point game right now.
Yeah, Lakers Heat happening right now. It's currently 11-8 in favor of the Heat. It's in Miami. All right, so what the heck is going on with the Lakers?
I don't think I would even consider the Lakers against the team any better than the Heat right now. So,
yep, it's a great, Here's the Lakers are another team that can beat anyone and lose to anyone. They just happen to lose to anyone more often right now. The Lakers, here's what's going on with the Lakers. They don't have any floor spacing, right? Their best 3-point shooters are essentially like Austin Reeves. Like, by the way, who here has heard of Austin Reeves? Like, you got to be an NBA fan this year. Austin Reeves, Lonnie Walker the fourth, which, I mean, how well does Lonnie Walker the fourth even shoot? Let's pull up some Lakers stats here. Let's see. I mean, AD is probably one of their better 3-point shooters, but they have this tandem of Russell Westbrook, Pat Beverly, and Dennis Schroeder, who like can't be on the floor together, right? They have 3 guards, none of which can space the floor, all of which are point guards, and they can't be on the floor together. So they have to have these weird pairings with these 3 guys who like all deserve minutes. They have to have these weird pairings where they have to have them with like Lonnie Walker 4 and like, you know, Austin Reeves, right? And like these other like strange, who else do they have? Like, that's what it is. They just don't have any spacing, and they have 3 dudes in Westbrook. Oh, Thomas Bryant. He's another one who gets minutes. Westbrook, Schroeder, and Beverly, who literally cannot play together because they're all the same person, just different variation. They're all the same person on offense. Sure. So yeah, we got LeBron James having like, you know, a good year, but what is he even doing on his shooting stats? His 3-point percentage is 29.4%. Why? Because there's no spacing. Because when he gets the ball and shoots a 3, there's a hand in his face every single time. He's getting no clean looks. Anthony Davis shooting 29% from the 3-point line. Only person shooting decent from the 3-point line is Thomas Bryant, and it's probably because he's taken 1.3 attempts per game. Like he's just not shooting the ball. He's not shooting threes. So yeah, I mean, Lonnie Walker 39.3. He actually is a decent shooter. It's their only floor spacing that they have. So that's what's really wrong with the Lakers. And since I just spent like several minutes bashing on the Lakers, I'm going to go with the Heat in this matchup. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the BAMF
13-13
as well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the Heat. I'm going to be the same with you here. Not too much time to dissect this any further. I got about 2 or 3 minutes left before I got to jet out of here, John. I know that we're planning on give away one more gift card, and I think we need to move on to that. But I'm going BAMF. BAMF's team, the Heat. Yep. Like I said, I would probably take just about any team against the Lakers right now. I was thinking maybe the Heat. I mean, I'll take a 500 team over the Lakers right now, and
even if it's 500 in the East, Heat. I do believe
the East is no joke right now. I don't know that we can have our
they're top heavy. Yeah, they're top heavy. The Heat does look to be playing without a one Bam Adebayo, but Tyler Herro's having a career year. He's having a breakout year. So yeah, I got.
They have multiple playmakers on the squad.
Heat have been on the come up too. I think they're in 7th in the East now. Like they've been kind of on the rise. Yeah, Felix, Tyler Herro doing pretty good. Let's do one more giveaway and then let's get out of here. So let's see. Gonna refresh here. And we are.
By the way, to your top heavy remark, if the Lakers were in the East, they would hold the same spot. They would still be their 13th seed. So,
right.
Pretty. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe it's flipping a little bit. Maybe the East is developing a little here. You never know.
Miss Parker says Heat definitely coming through. Yeah, and that's kind of what we thought. We were like, yeah, a slow start, but they're the Heat. They're gonna get it figured out. Twitter logged me out. So I don't know if you can pull up Twitter in the clutch here, Casey.
Oh boy. Sure. Do this. I don't know exactly what your process was, but
all right. So yeah, I know. Just hit me with the name. Just send me in the private chat the names that are still available that haven't won one already.
Okay, private chatting you now.
Okay, so while he's doing that, you all right. So while he's doing that, I will say tomorrow we'll be doing maybe some other giveaways. We're going to be doing a live watch party, or I don't know, like game companion with the Titans Cowboys game for Thursday Night Football. And we're going to be doing some bets. We're going to be eating some hot wings if we lose the bets, and we're going to be doing giveaways if we win the bets. So it's a good time. All right. So private chatting you, error after error. All right. So yeah, mine's still having an error, not pulling up. I'll put them into my like thing here that you private chat me. Oh yeah. It's Jace. Jace, if you're still here, you won the $50 gift card. Awesome. I'm glad Jace won something. Jazz.
Yeah.
Go Jazz. Where's Jace? Where he is?
Go Jazz.
Yes. Sorry, I'm not responding to this much. I'm making dinner. That's cool, man.
All right.
I'm
Hey,
still here. Let's go, Jazz.
Everybody's got to eat, you know?
Everybody's got to eat. All right. So Jace won the $50 gift card. For the rest of you, Jace heard it. He responded, hey, nice. All right. So for the rest of you, we will do some more giveaways tomorrow. If you want to, if you're a football fan, want to watch Thursday Night Football with us, thank you all for entering. Thank you for hanging out, for chatting. And Casey, say the YouTube things. Bring us out.
Triple Cross, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time here, we appreciate it. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get notifications because we go live all the time. You don't want to miss those live shows because you could win stuff or you could see us eat some hot wings or a cup of toothpaste or whatever we're talking about. So make sure you do all those things. And until next time, keep it real.